A full solar eclipse on April 8th, 2024 is signaling a total eclipse of the self. What does that mean? Well, here we see at 19 degrees and 24 minutes of Aries, the Sun, asteroid Chiron, and the Moon all together, heralding a new beginning of one's authenticity and the understanding of who you are truly meant to be. Aries is a cardinal fire sign. Fire signs are spirit or animus. They are the breath of life, and cardinal energy initiates a season. The Sun is exalted in Aries, meaning that this is the most effortless placement of the Sun. The Sun is symbolic of one's personality and the operating system of the individual. Given that Aries is the ruler of Mars, we have to look to the placement of Mars during this eclipse in order to fully understand the magnitude of what this eclipse is telling us. Mars is at an exceptionally important point in its cycle as it is about to conjunct Saturn within 3 days of the solar eclipse. Mars-Saturn conjunctions are very volatile and very dangerous. Could this potentially be signaling flooding, tsunamis, disasters at sea? Another destabilizing component of this eclipse is the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, which is building during the eclipse. This is the symbolism of earthquakes, countries' borders being reassessed, and unstable geopolitics. Another important element of this eclipse is that we have Venus at 4 degrees and 26 minutes of Aries, Venus in its debilitated placement, being very selfish and self-oriented, and we also have Mercury in Aries at 24 degrees and 47 minutes, and it is retrograde, meaning that planning and forethought are not its strong suit. With Mercury retrograde, we must ask the question, will cooler heads prevail? They must. That is, if we are not to live in a world that is eclipsed by war. Let's return to the main star of this eclipse, aside from the Sun and the Moon, Chiron. Chiron, the wounded healer, a demi-planet who gives that which he cannot give himself to others. It is about our wound and how we externalize it. Chiron is misunderstood because he is a seeming paradox. He is a master of something that he cannot provide for himself. And here, Chiron has been in Aries since 2018, dealing with questions of the fractured masculine and what it means to be a whole and integrated yang principle. With Chiron in Aries, one may feel like an outcast, facing debilitated or fractured images of one's masculinity. Here, Chiron asks the individual, what does it mean to stand in your authenticity and to be of service to others by standing in your truth? The wholeness and wellness of the masculine principle has been undergoing a vital reinvestigation and evaluation since the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement having begun a mere 6 months or so before the ingress of Chiron into Aries in 2018. I bring up the Me Too movement because it coincided roughly with the Great American Solar Eclipse of August 2017. And that is the bookend of the eclipse we are currently experiencing. From 2017 to 2024, we have seen a complete deconstruction and reevaluation of gender roles and the idea of masculinity. And I think this eclipse is helping us to bring back the masculine, the sacred masculine, in a healthy and necessary way. And the shadow of the masculine principle is the warlord. And that is what you see on the world stage. You see the drums of war being banged by all of this huge Aries stellium, Venus in Aries, the North Node, along with the Sun, Chiron, and the Moon, Mercury retrograde. We are primed for a world war. But in the midst of that, can we have a degree of being grounded in who we are and integrating the yin and yang, the masculine and feminine, within each of our own beings? As a parting thought for this meditation on a total eclipse of the self, I leave you with the imagery of the Archangel Michael vanquishing Satan. That is where we are at. The Aries energy calls on the sacred masculine to wield the sword of truth and justice to smite the evil forces, and that begins within. Stay safe.